facts or rational basis like your partner VOP? Is there any way you could do that?
I can if you listen to the Vito and Vito show tomorrow 8 p.m.
I disagree with global warming. Hey, what's global warming?
It's the biggest threat we're facing right now.
Know. I can tell you. I'll Google it. Maybe I'll know tomorrow. All right.
I just wanted to find what a hedge fund is so that our listeners exactly know what it is. But I can't do it because Vito's standing right here.
No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it this week.
Well, listen.
Like a liberal, you boys are avoiding exactly what the issue is.
And you were avoiding defining what a hedge fund is.
I defined it. Go back and listen to the tape.
Very simple question. Is a hedge fund regulated by the SEC, yes or no?
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be?
It should not be.
But is it, yes or no?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So you don't know.
I'll give Vito credit on this one.
matter.
That's a gotcha question. I'm not going to get him the gotcha question there. I'll say Gene just set him up for a gotcha question. But my question was not a gotcha question. You had a very strong opinion on something that you don't know what it is.
All right, well, the debate will continue with the
Ted
Vito
Cruz
and Vito
told
show.
him to say that.
Yeah.
Or told him to think that. And I love Ted. By the way, I'm going to say it one more time, Gene, because I want to get this on the record so nobody can skew my words. The person I want to be the president of the United States is Ted Cruz. That's it. But Donald Trump is going to be the president. So take that as you will.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get the car back on the road here. Gene and Russ and friends behind enemy lines. We'll be back, hopefully, right after this. And by the way, this being the Reverend Al. I love this segment, by the way. Take a listen to this. Gene and Russ will be back right after this.
The show will be right back. But first, a word from Al Sharpton.
Good evening, Rev. Thanks
Good evening,
to
Rev.
you, Ed. Is this Groundhog Day 2? We are watching that was Attorney General Eric Holder, ABDs, about some Republicans at home are already beating the drums of war. Today, the Pentagon refuted that claim. And he said the American people do not want him to, quote, they do not want him whittling his thumbs. You can get a gig as a contortionist. Intravenous fluids and pills coated with gelatin. We don't leave our women or men in uniform behind. It's a monument to the hubris of Dick Cheney, Representative Raul Ara, Labrador. Years of abuse. I personally apologized to Mr. Peebles. Just ask to soon-to-be former Congressman. Democrats are outright jitty. CIA's counterterrorism center. Veteran Affairs Secretary Shinseki. Why do I always mess up his name? Shinseki. I love my critics to have fun with that.
Politics Nation with the Reverend Al Sharpton starts right now. Good evening, Rev.
Good evening, Dr. Dyson.
But wait, there's more.
And we will much about that be committed. So there's no real conflict. Michael Druniak, including Lincoln himself, Daniel Day-Lewis. Behind Monica Lewinsky, the one and only Trey Songz is here. But Allison Lundergan Grimes, Gina De Jesus, when Gina De Jesus, Tea Party challenger Matt Bivens. People don't want to have their Social Security overall. The Republican savior, Mark Rubio's big night. In evolution and Galileo, this whole thing of Galileo, America's changed. Unless IT and Skillets, President Putin doing something similar back in, it won't change this fundamental fact about the GOP. Just how absurd these attacks is. Nearly 6 months after the dangerous traffic jam, the Thai military says, my friend for many years, Ilyana Van Zandt. There's nothing there.
And all we can get is an internet show? Let's get back to it.
So you see a hedge fund. Gene Russ, back behind enemy lines. They're still talking about what a hedge fund is, and totally trying to ruin my show. Russ, We're holding the show together by a thread because we're here on location at Cafe on the Hill in, would you call this Bensonhurst or would you call this Gravesend?
It's Gravesend.
Gravesend,
but
Brooklyn.
most people never heard of it. Bensonhurst is good enough.
People know what Bensonhurst is, right? So that's what we're going to go with. We're waiting for maybe a couple of more War Radio hosts to call in. Some of them will be able to hear us. Some of them won't, apparently, Russ. So
War. What is it good for?
Exactly right. Oh, Wayne's going to hear that one on replay, isn't he?
Wayne, I'm not going to finish that song. I'm a little drunk.
But actually, let me tell you something. War is now the number one. What do you mean now? Always has been. What am I saying? For the past year and a half. Has been and will be the number one political talk station on Live365.com. That's what we are and that's what we do here. So, okay. As we're looking at photos from the YR party that is dwindling down here, Russ, funky moments during the debate. I mentioned the high five that almost wasn't between Trump and Carson. I know awkward white guy high fives. That was an awkward white guy high five. Someone right now has probably already made a meme of Ben Carson looking at Donald Trump with that hand up in the air saying, "Is you crazy?" Because that's what it looked like his face was for a second. It was crazy.
I have two. Both of them against Rand Paul, who I happen to like.
Okay, first of all, can you just say what you said on what I quoted you on Twitter as saying
Oh,
about
I
Rand
love
Paul?
it. So first of all, Rand Paul, and I got this from John, by the way, who was on the show earlier tonight. I thought this was brilliant. Rand Paul, right before the debate, he goes into a barbershop in his, I guess, California where they were, and apparently he asked for a blooming onion. Because what is up with Rand Paul's hair? I mean, we talk about Donald Trump's hair. What is going on with Rand's hair? Now, that leads me into the two awkward moments of the night. Donald Trump had a couple of zingers against Rand Paul, and if you remember, Rand Paul went against Donald Trump in the first debate pretty hard, and he's been promising all week to go against Donald Trump in this debate. Rand Paul, Donald Trump said, first of all, I haven't attacked Rand Paul's appearance, although there's plenty of subject matter there to be had. Number one, attack. Awkward moment for Rand Paul. Number two, and I did this actually first, Donald Trump said, Rand Paul doesn't even belong on this stage. He's in 11th place. He shouldn't be in this debate.
That set the tone, didn't it?
It did set the tone. Rand Paul was back on his heels, and I don't think he ever recovered from that one.
Well, let me tell you something. The first 90 minutes of this debate was awkward to me because CNN did a horrible job here of framing the issues. They made the issues out to be like, hey, junior high school kid, so-and-so said this about you. You're going to let them get away with that? That's what it was for the whole time. They made them fight with each other for the entertainment of the masses. I felt like it was a gladiatorial arena where they might as well just handed them the axes and let them chop each other up. CNN did people are going to talk about the end of the debate and how it got better, but CNN did an absolutely horrible, horrible job with the beginning of this debate and the way things went. I just didn't like it at all.
First of all, for hour one, Dr. Ben Carson had 0 minutes. I think his opening statement he had a minute or less. So, Dr. Ben
Foreign
Carson,
policy was nothing for Ted Cruz.
he had no question. CNN did a horrible job, and we're not just saying that because we're always against the media. Let me give you a quick, and Gene, I'm not going to filibuster here, quick lesson on what a debate is. I'm the debate moderator. I have 11 people in front of me. All 11 people are more important than me, because guess what? In less than a year and change, one of them is going to be the President of the United States. Here's what I say. Candidates, Iran. That's it. You got a minute. Go. That's a debate. Not what was going on tonight. What was going on tonight was better than Megyn Kelly. Better. But Jake Tapper basically, every question for the first hour and a half was, Donald Trump said this, Mr. So-and-so, what do you think? Mr. Trump, so-and-so said this, what do you think? That was disgraceful.
And then they go back and they say, after they answer something, well, that wasn't what I asked you. I mean, you're not the show, okay, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash and Hugh Hewitt. You're not the reason why we're watching. I don't need you to frame your question for 10 minutes either, by the way. When you start filibustering and trying to shade a question before it's even asked. I don't need any of that from you.
Dana Bash by the way.
Okay, first of all, your name's Dana, all right? That's the first thing.
Let's start there.
We're from Brooklyn. Your name's Dana. Sorry, I don't care what you say it is. You're wrong.
Why did you look different tonight than you've ever looked on CNN before?
You noticed that too, right? The hair.
The face.
The
color.
everything.
The skin color. Wow. I guess CNN really did expect a big Trump audience. By the way, Democrats, I know you got to be listening. Where are your debates? Where are your debates?
Listen, the science is settled. I mean, the candidate's settled, isn't it?
Why are we not hearing from your candidates? Do you not realize that by Republicans debating all the time, our message is getting out there? We're reaching out to new communities, new groups of people that we never have. Do you really believe, and Gene, this is a serious question, I want you to answer this. And John, I'd even like you to jump in on this. Do you really believe that minorities of all stripes, not just blacks, I'm talking about minorities in general, are coming out for Hillary Clinton in the numbers that they came out for Barack Obama in?
Oh, I don't think so at all. No.
I mean, is that even possible?
I don't think so at all. Now, in all honesty, I don't think anybody's coming out for Hillary Clinton because she's Hillary Clinton. Forget about, race, ethnicity, what have you. I think that's the deal right there. I think because nobody trusts Hillary Clinton. Maybe I have my blinders on, my color blinders on, but that's what I see. By the way, folks, while we're talking to you now on this special edition of Behind Enemy Lines that we're doing kind of late here, I appreciate everybody listening, by the way, staying up late with us after that 3-hour marathon of a debate. We actually have a little bit of a chat room going on. We got some diehards in the chat hanging out with us. I want to shout out to the chat room where Russ has been stealing comments from all night. I haven't had it up because bandwidth is an issue here at Cafe on the Hill, and we're trying to keep it as minimal as possible. But, Russ, anything exciting going on in the chat? You see any comments here and there? It looks like we got a couple people in there. What is the feeling in the chat about Trump and all the other candidates? Do we see that there's a feeling about who's up and who's down, or is it just a little bit of banter?
I mean, it's a little bit of banter. I don't really want to bash our chat
Do it!
room.
Just do it!
But
Go ahead.
We have a rhino or two in the chat room, as usual. First of all, here's my thing, Gene, that I want to get to all the rhinos out there. If you're a rhino, right, or a moderate Republican, whatever you like to call yourself, why would you not like a guy like Donald Trump? It's so funny to me, Gene, that our moderate friends, or rhinos, like to point out Donald Trump's inconsistencies when it comes to things like Obamacare, or things like abortion. That's what moderates and rhinos love. So why is this an issue? You should love it, and you should love Donald.
You know what? I agree with you on that. And one of the more awkward moments for me was when Jeb tried to say that he was his own man and not his family. Gee, I think his logo said it all, too. Jeb, if you notice, the name Bush appears nowhere in that sucker right there. I mean, that to me shows that, yes, they asked him who would he appoint that would be different than his father or his brother or his aunt or his uncle or his cousin, whoever else served in office. And he was like, I'm going to have a team, and it's going to be a really good team, and I'm more than my family name and all this stuff. But he's not. He's never going to get away from it. It's just not going to happen.
Jeb had one good line tonight that I was able to hear. It's a little
Was that the one about apologizing to his wife? Because that's another shining moment, CNN.
Jeb said Donald Trump and him got into a little jabbing contest, and Jeb actually said something great. He said, we were safe under George Bush for 7 years, because it was a debate over the Iraq War, I believe. And you know what, Jeb? Kudos to you. I agree with that. The candidates who were coming out hardcore against the Iraq War, that's not going to sell. It's not going to sell.
Will attacks against George W. Bush fall onto Jeb Bush? Will the sins of the brother land on the brother? It seemed like some of the candidates, especially Trump, was trying to do that tonight.
Well, it's definitely possible. But the thing to think about really is this, Gene. The last two Republican presidents were named what?
Bush and Clinton.
The last two Republican presidents were named what?
Guys, by the way, it's almost midnight here, so I'm going to look. The last two Republican presidents were named Bush M. Bush.
Okay, so
My
there's
bad.
Jeb's downfall.
It's
This is
late.
the United States of America. There's not going to be a Bush, Bush, Bush.